Hello everyone, this is Carolina, and I'm going to talk about something that we see every day, but we never look too deep, that is families in the media. And so I did my research with my images, and so this was different shows and movies, and I look for patterns and like using the concepts like the Murdoch's definition of family, Giddens' criticism, ideological code, and media framing. And so what I found is that media shows a specific type of family. Yeah, and they are normalizing just that specific type of family. So the first big pattern that I found, it was the dominance of the traditional family, where about 90% of the families were married, and 90% of them had children, and 100% of them were heterosexual. And so that shows a big pattern on what is showing media and what is normalized. So yeah, basically they are telling family needs to look like mom, dad, and kids. These concepts, like these family patterns connect to Murdoch's definition of family, where it describes a heterosexual family and living with children. We see this in Phineas and Ferb, Good Luck Charlie, Wizard of Waverly Place, and The Incredibles. Yeah, it's the same structure and it's repeated. Yeah. So the second pattern that I noticed, it was the lack of diversity. About 80% of families were the same racial background, and again, most 100% of them were heterosexual. This means there's a lot of families missing, and they are falling short in representation. Media is not doing it. So this supports Gideon's idea, where they say there is no one universal family, and because in real life there's a lot of different families and diverse, and there's more culture diverse, and yeah. So we can see this how they portrayed the same pattern in Diary of a Wimpy Kid, Keju, Franklin, and the film Stones, where the families were very similar. The third pattern is about stability and live together. Yeah, about 90% of families live in the same home, function as a one unit. And so this create how the family works, what is normal, and how family will always be stable and always live together. And yeah, so this is what we call the ideological code, and yeah, a hiding message about what families should look like. An example of them was Bob's Burger, Malcolm in the Middle, and The Loud House. Now we can talk about media framing. Media doesn't just show families, it shapes how we feel about them. And so traditional families are usually shown as happy, stable, and successful. But they don't show other type of families. And yeah, they show little problems here and there, but yeah, they normalize the functional, and so there's not that much representation. So what we can see that patterns in the Parent Trap, Home Alone, and Matilda. Even they face some challenges, like they still have like the family structure, like showing still as very essential. Um, and yeah, like an example for like yeah, like in The Lion King, they show like mom, dad, and kids. Like that's a very traditional family and clear parent roles. As well in Inside Out, like well they have like again like the nuclear family together, and yeah, like even though like in like I have some representation like out of that pattern, that it was like Spy Kids and Despicable Me, they still like were center around the structure and connection, like they like some challenges but it still fell in the same pattern. um so yeah, my findings show that media continues to promote a traditional unlimited view of family. Like there's a lot of things that are now out there, and like um yeah, like they don't show dysfunctional families, or like they always idealize um how families work. And yeah, like they put a lot of patterns that are known in real life. And yeah, like there's plenty of them that are no in there, like, and also like the culture, I was like there's a lot of lack of representation in culture, in like different racial uh, aspects. And yeah, so it was really interesting to see all these patterns, because it's something that we always like we consume this media, but we don't always like criticize it or like consider it or like see what is the message hiding in it. So yeah, it's very interesting, and I enjoyed this project, and thank you so much for hearing me out.